Hello everyone, welcome to National Defense Institute. So today in this video we will be discussing about NDA's previous year questions, and this time for NDA's 2022's questions will be discussed in this video. So we shall go with for the first question. See, especially in the geography, they will be according to syllabus. We have physical geography and Indian geography. Along with that, we have maps. So recently maps based questions are taking a much prominence associated with your physical and Indian, which is along attached with your current affairs. So if you see this previous or the recent NDA exams questions, you will be getting a clear idea about how exactly the questions have been asked. So let's discuss with the first question. So this is a question associated with the Indian geography. So in India, a cultivable land which is left uncultivated for more than a year but less than 5 years is labeled as cultivable wasteland, current fallow land, fallow other than the current fallow, and barren and wasteland. See, this is with respect to the agricultural lands. So we have certain classification of the agricultural lands which is left uncultivated for less than 1 year, between 1 year to 5 years, and with respect to more than 5 years, and which is not at all used for your cultivation. See, the less than 1 year land which is not cultivated, we call that land as your current fallow land. The cultivable wasteland are your land which is more than 5 years. The answer for this one is will be your current fallow other than your current fallow land. These are the lands which is within the 1 to 5 year land, and barren and wasteland are your not at all useful for the cultivable or the cultivation, like just residual lands of your mining activity or quarrying activity. So this question is quite a static, a direct question. So the answer for this will be your option C. Let's see for the next question. So the major portion of Great Artesian Basin in Australia is located in. See, they are asking about the Great Artesian Basin. See friends, we know that basin is something which is associated with the water. So we know running river basin, something groundwater basin, so like that. If you keenly observe the map of the Australia, see, along the western side of the Australia, it is purely made up of the desert, Great Australian Desert, and much of the developments has been found along the eastern side of the continent. So when that is there, we know why the desert has been formed here, because of the offshore trade winds much that is flowing along that direction. So that will be bringing out all the moisture along that. So that will be bringing out the moisture, and that will cause your much of your desert on the western side of the continent. So we cannot have the major Great Artesian Basin on the western side. That is wrong. What is this Great Artesian Basin? Is your this whatever the development they have to depend upon the fresh water. Since that is much of the marine water around the Asian continent, they are dependent upon your groundwater. So the groundwater that is present along this region itself is your Great Artesian Basin. Thus they are asking your major portion. So where exactly that is allocated, or the major portion in which state they are asking. Of course in Victoria it is having some minor part, but the major portion of this Great Artesian Basin is allocated in the Queensland. That can be your answer. So answer is answer C. So if you know the physical geography of the Australia, this answer can be easily addressed. So let's go for the next question. So which of the following statements are correct? See friends, if the question is somewhat having a lengthier statements like this, and the options are jumbled like this, there will be some sort of clue or the flaw will be in the given statements, so that these questions are majorly made for you to consume your time. So in that idea, if you see that reads the statements in a very keen way, you will be figuring out the what exactly the problem or the flaw that is there in the statement. So first go with the first statement. India has one of the longest navigable inland waterworks in the world. Say it has to be a longest navigable inland work means we have to know that India is the 7th largest country in the world somewhat. So prior to that, we have many other countries like Russia, Canada, USA, Brazil, other countries are present. So of course with that idea we can eliminate that it is not the one which is having the longest inland navigable waterway, because Mississippi is the one river that is having the uh, longest inland waterway, so that is in USA. So that option is wrong. So when automatically one is wrong, you can come to the options. So in the options, wherever you have one, that will be obviously wrong, because you are sure that your first statement is wrong. When that is the wrong, with the elimination technique, you can eliminate A, B, and D, and answer can be your C. So let's read the other statements. Inland waterways presently help in transporting about 25% of total cargo. No. India's inland waterways now only it is developing, and almost 4 to 5 inland waterways we have working, and that is not comprising of the 25. Of course, your external marine waterways is one which is having a much of a cargo movements. So second one is wrong. About 111 inland waterways have been declared as the national waterways. Yes, of course, that is right. So with that, if you are aware about the complete information, that is also right. Or with this logic also, you can come to the answer that option is C. All right. So let's move on to the next question. So match the list and list one. So here the earlier question was with respect to inland waterways. This question is with respect to railway zone. So and they are asking about the headquarters. See, in the match the following, you can easily, you need not to know all the 4 options, but if you know 1 or 2, that would be helpful. See, for example, I'll show you here. East Central is where you have your Hajipur headquarters. So wherever A is 3 or matched with 3, you can fix AB, and here A is 2, A is 2, and you can eliminate C and D. So when that is there, your D automatically matches with 2. So you need not to worry. So D match with 2. And next one is your northeastern is your Gorakhpur. Northeast frontier is Maligaon. So with that is the option, you can go that. So when B is matched with 1, so you have to gamble between B and C now. So B is matched with 1, answer is B. So this is how you can easily attend your match the following questions. Alright. So let's go with the next question. So which one of the following statements about the earthquake is not correct? See, this is somewhat a negative connotation statement. So here what you have to know is, we all know that the questions and the statement they are giving is your somewhat right one. What you have to find is which is the not correct answer. So when we're talking about earthquake, we know that earthquake is mainly made up of seismic waves. So this seismic waves has 2 type of waves. We know that one is your body waves, another one we know that it is surface waves. So here in this body waves, we have 2 type of waves, primary waves and secondary waves. So here the P waves is your primary waves, what the question is talking about. So here P waves moves faster and are the first to arrive at the surface. Of course, they are faster. That's why we call it as a primary waves. And P waves can travel through gaseous, liquid, solid. Of course, they can travel through all the medium. Only your S waves cannot travel through the liquid. So seismographs located beyond 145 degree from the epicenter can record the arrival of P waves. Of course, that is right. The P waves have the maximum area covered under shadow region. No, that is wrong. Why that is wrong? See here. In the earth, when there is an earthquake, from the focus to the epicenter, body waves will move like this. So when the body waves are moving, so that will be detected. That means, give me 2 seconds. Yeah, see here, if that is the case, up to your 103 degree, you can witness your P waves and S waves. But beyond this 143 to 145 degree, you can witness only your P waves. Therefore, your P wave shadow region is only this much. This is your shadow region of the P waves. But if you take in the case of S waves, since S waves cannot move along your liquid, so this is what your S waves will be detected up to this region, and beyond 103 degree you cannot witness, because you have your asthenosphere, which is a molten metal. So your shadow region will be entire this one. So maximum shadow region, which is the wave that is having, is your S wave. So if we consider that, your option D is the wrong one, but for us they are asking not correct statement, so answer will be your D. Alright, so let's go for the next question. Which one of the following statements about the metamorphic rocks is not correct? So it's a simple question, but the thing is, if you know the concept, this is also they are asking about the negative connotation, negative statement. So here, due to segregation of minerals into wavy bands and fatty surface, some metamorphic forms develop foliation. What do you mean by foliation? You might be knowing something about onion. When you know onion, there is a layer by layer of the onion strip you have. Just like that, rocks also develop a bandy rocks or the waves. So that is can be by layer we call that as your foliation. So the question is, due to segregation of minerals into wavy bands. Of course, this one mineral, this is one other mineral. Because of the segregation only, you will be having this foliation. So of course, this statement is right. Where the foliation develop into broad mineral bands and the metamorphic rocks is extremely hard. Of course, when this foliation width is very broad, that will become extremely hard. Of course, that is right. And when the foliations are moderately thin, the metamorphic rocks tends to flake apart. Of course, that is also right. Obviously, no, when the flakes are or the foliation is very thin, when you have a weathering agent like wind or air, that would weather apart and make that to flake apart. So that we call it as exfoliation. So exfoliation will be more when you have the different minerals that is going to be arranged in the layers by layer. So that is also right statement. This is also right statement. Rocks that originally were composed of one dominant mineral are often foliated by metamorphism. So is in the other three statements itself we could figure out that a foliation, it needs many sort of minerals that is going to be segregated. If the only one dominant mineral is there, you cannot have much of your foliation, what we can see. So answer what we can go is your D is the wrong statement. So when that is the case, your answer will be your D. Alright. So this is with respect to rocks, and we know that in rocks we have three types of rock: igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. Metamorphic is the one rock which is majorly built because of the excess pressure and temperature. Alright, fine. Let's go for the next question. So, which one of the following discontinuities separates the earth from the crust from mantle? This is a very simple question. So, they are asking about the layers of the earth. So, in the layers of the earth, we have three layers. One is your crust, mantle, and core. So, they are asking about some discontinuity. What is discontinuity? There is difference in the density of the material. So, there is discontinuities between the upper crust and lower crust, and the upper mantle and lower mantle, and the upper outer core and inner core. So first is your Conrad discontinuity, and this continuity between your crust and mantle is your Mohorovic discontinuity. Then we have Reptite, Gutenberg, and last is your Lehmann. So you should know this discontinuity. So answer is your Mohorovic discontinuity. So your upper mantle and the crust makes your lithosphere. So that is what they have you will be have studied. So this is a very direct hit question, and you can easily attend that one. Alright. So we'll go for the next question. So which one of the following cities of the world, see here, would represent the greatest linear velocity of rotation of the earth? See, he is one of the important question with respect to map and also with your earth's rotation. So the question is, they are asking the linear velocity of rotation of the earth, where exactly it is greatest, in the which cities. So you should know Kampala, say St. Petersburg, Madrid, and Stockholm, where exactly they are located. And if you know or aware about the actual continents and their much capitals, you can easily attend this one. See where exactly your rotational velocity or the velocity you have is more. Of course, along the earth, along the equator you have more. As you go from the equator towards the pole, that will be decreasing. So because of that only, you have the city which is close to the equator will be experiencing this one more. So if you take St. Petersburg, Russia, almost here, Stockholm, Sweden here, something here, and you have the Uganda, something closer towards the equator. So we can directly go with that. So this is your answer, not the B, C, and D. So answer is the Kampala, Uganda. This is having the greatest linear velocity. So this is the 8th question. Let's go for the next one. So what will happen if you are flying east across the international date line? So what is the international date line? For example, this is what we have international date line, that is going along your Bering Strait in the Pacific Ocean. So when that is happening, all your Asian countries which are there will be on your right side, and all the western countries will be on the western side. For example, this is your America, North America. This will become on the left side. I mean, like you will be having the America here, and you will be having your Asia on the eastern side. That means Asia here. You will be having US here, So that means US will become east, Asia will become west, like this, because the 180 degree, the ideal is exactly against the prime meridian of 0 degree longitude. So this will be a 180 degree east longitude and also your 180 degree west longitude. So west longitude. So for that only, the question is, if you are flying east across the international date line, what is the thing it happens? Of course, these US countries will be having, they will be behind us. So obviously, you will gain 12 hours. That is the one thing what you have to know here, because they will be obviously behind. If the thing is exactly here, each longitude makes your 4 minutes. So obviously when you are going from west to east along the international date line, you will be gaining the 12 hours. So this is a one of the calculative question, but you have to be quite aware about the ideal and international timeline. If you know those two concepts, you will be easily answering this one. So let's go for the next question. So next is the prime meridian does not pass along through which one of the following African countries? See friends, in the previous question we saw about the international date line. Here they are directly asking about the international timeline, that is also called as your prime meridian. So why they have asked this one? Of course, it's also somewhat calculative, but this is also map based and also your basic concept. So they are asking does not pass through which of the following countries? They are all your African countries. They are all your African countries, and which of them are not following? So which of them are not falling on this one? That is your actual thing. So here so of course it is passing along your Algeria, Mali and Ghana. So only country that is not actually passing along your prime meridian is your Morocco. So this is also one of the simple question. So we'll see, go for the next one. Piecing together the puzzle of geologic time to create and analyze historical maps of the earth is known as what? See here only they have given, they are asking about the historical maps of the earth. That means piecing together earth they are asking. So here that is the option, they are talking about paleoclimatology. No, it is wrong. Paleogeomorphology, of course this may be right. Paleolithology, no. Paleogeography, no. The answer is your paleogeography, geomorphologists, because they are telling about the geologic time, and of course to create and analyze. So all your geomorphology is the complete study of your landforms and their evolutions. So obviously your answer can be the paleogeomorphology. Then we have, consider the following section. I told you this is a long lengthy question, just to consume your time. Consider the following section on the computation of density. So physiological density can be computed by dividing the total population by net cultivable area. This is the right statement. Agricultural density. What is the density? It is density something like in that area what is the amount of matter or whoever that is present. That makes your density. So agricultural density can be computed by dividing the total agricultural production by the net cultivable area. That is also right. Population density can be computed by dividing the total population by the total area. Of course that is also right. So answer can be your, how many statements above statements are correct? Of course all of your statements are correct. That makes your option C as the right answer. Let's go for the next one. The formation of tars on small rocky hills is associated with which among the following? So this is what a simple question, but you have to know about the things. Where exactly you have these stars on small rocky hills? They are on the granite, limestone, alluvial and dolomite? Of course they are on the granite. See, what you can do is, among when they are asked the single word options, or they have given the single word options, one man will be odd man. So here if you see, granite is a igneous rock and the rest of the things are your sedimentary rocks. So with that angle also we can eliminate that, but that is a somewhat a crude method. But before that you have to go for your actual knowledge, then you have to go for the crude techniques if it's not working. Alright, so answer is your granite. Next question is with respect to climatology. Consider the following statements about the anticyclones. They are not asking about cyclones, they are telling of the anticyclones. Anticyclones are high pressure systems. Of course, that is a right statement because cyclones are your low pressure systems. Air in the center of the system must subsiding. See, of course, when along the equator, if there is a rise, you will be having first cell as your Hadley cell, then you will be having your Ferrel cell, then you will be having your polar cell. Hadley cell, Ferrel cell, and your polar cell. So this is where air will be rising. So you will be having your cloud formation. But when you have that air that is converged here and that will be subsiding, just like two ends of the one end from the Ferrel cell, one end from the Hadley cell will be subsiding. So obviously that is where you will be having the high pressure zone. So you will be not having any clouds, and that is the region where that is the statement 2 is telling. Air is the center of system must be subsiding. Of course, that is right. So anticyclones are characterized by converging winds. Yes, of course, here it is converging. So answer is your option C. How many statements about are correct? 3. All the statements are correct. Okay. We'll go for the next question. Which of the following statements are correct? The earth crust is brittle in nature. The mean thickness of the oceanic crust is 15 km, whereas that of the continental crust is 30 km. See, this is something what you have to know. If this is your crust, usually if this takes your continental crust and is your oceanic crust, where you will be having your much of the water that is going to be present along this space. So obviously the entire thing makes your continental crust. So here I mean like the actual crust, this one will be your oceanic crust, this one will be your continental crust. If you know this, you can easily answer this one. So here the earth's crust is brittle in nature. Of course, that is brittle in nature, that's why you will be having earthquakes and the entire disaster that is going to take place. And mean thickness of the oceanic crust is 15 km. Of course, that is somewhat thin, but your continental crust is somewhat thicker. So obviously we can go, they are asking for the correct answer, so obviously we can go for the C. So that is the answer for the 15th question. Let's go for the next question. So consider the following statements. Maharashtra state has the maximum share of national highways. The nature of terrain and the level of economic development is one of the reasons for maximum share of national highways in the Maharashtra. See, friends, see the state. Of course, we know which is the biggest state in India. Of course, we have UP. When UP is the biggest state, it is majorly made of plains. When plains are there, your national highways that can be laid down in the plains are much more. Maharashtra, of course, it is also somewhat a Deccan Plateau region, but the thing is, the statement here, what it is telling, maximum share and the terrain and level of economic development. Here, another clue they have given, nature of terrain. So here, instead of nature terrain for Maharashtra, we can go for UP is the that major state which is having much of the plain. So answer for this is both statements are wrong. So when both are wrong, answer can be yours your D. Option D is the actual answer for the 16th one. Let's go for the 17th one. In a recent judgment, Supreme Court of India directed that every protected forest, national park, wildlife sanctuary across the country should have a mandatory eco-sensitive zone. What is eco-sensitive zone? Where exactly the certain things are restricted. Ecologically, that is very sensitive. If you are allowing the any sort of human activities or some sort of other exploitation, that might be exploited, and that will make the wildlife a threat for the wildlife. For that, so recently it is a direct current affairs question. So answer is your A. It's not 2 or 3 or 5. It is. So we have next question, friends. So it's one of the question with respect to the Indian river system. The Sharavati river creates joke falls. Yes, that is right. Where Sharavati river is there? It's in Karnataka. Brahmani river is formed by the confluence of Kosi and Sank rivers. See, the question what they are asking is how many above statements are correct. Brahmani river is formed by the confluence of Kosi and Sank rivers. See, this is where you have to make use of analysis. This is your Bhutan, Sikkim, Northeast region and your North. So we know shore of Bihar is your Kosi. If this is the Bihar state, so this is where you have the shore of Kosi is flowing. So obviously your brother is in the Odisha region. So you cannot have this Brahmani is the confluence of Kosi river. So obviously 2 is wrong. And Tamrapani, is a river in Tirunelveli district, Tamil Nadu. This is right. So answer is, two statements are right. Answer is B. So all the questions what we have with respect to the geography of NDA 2 of 2022. For further question paper analysis of the same subject, you have to watch further videos. Thank you.